The opinions expressed in the video you are about to see are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Today we're going to bring Yanmar to the testing table. The engine is the 6BY2-260Z. That's a 260 horsepower diesel engine, and it'll be driving Yanmar's hydraulically operated ZT350 stern drive. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. The first thing that's important to note is that Yanmar has made the entire power package, from the outdrive, the engine, the controls, to the gauges. Now, something that you may not be able to notice on camera, but I can tell from my test, is because this is a hydraulically actuated stern drive, there's none of that annoying clunking when you put it into gear. It's just a nice, smooth engaging. A couple of features about the Yanmar control itself. There's no trigger to squeeze when you put it into gear. You can just simply push the lever into gear. On the side, there's still the button to push when you want it to go throttle only. Now on the front, there's a trailer switch. When you bring the trim all the way up, push the trailer switch at the same time, and the drive will come all the way up. The gauge has a digital readout, which you can cycle through the fuel rate, tank level, RPMs, trim, engine alarms, battery voltage. So there's no surprises there. You've got a complete array of information.
Our test boat was a weekender that had a test weight of just under 8,200 pounds. It had a length overall of 28 feet 1 inch, a beam of 8 feet 10 inches, and a dead rise of 20 degrees at the stern. Now please remember that speed, fuel consumption, time to plane, and other statistics will vary from boat to boat. On this particular test day with this specific boat, we got the following performance numbers. Top speed was reached at 4,100 RPM of 36.4 miles per hour. At that speed, we were burning 13.2 gallons per hour and getting 2.76 miles per gallon. Pulled back to a more economic cruise of 3,500 RPM, and we were running at 28.8 miles per hour with a 10 gallon per hour fuel burn and getting 2.89 miles per gallon.
Now remember, because this is a diesel, you're not going for breakneck performance.
With that said, our test showed a time to plane of 9.9 seconds. We reached 20 miles per hour in 16.2 seconds and passed through 30 miles per hour in 22.8 seconds.
The low speed maneuverability of the boat is excellent. When I put it in forward or reverse, I can put the boat right where I want to. When it's in reverse, the stern seems to pull into the direction I'd like it to go. The bow follows along rather than swings to the outside of the turn. So that's something to keep in mind when you're maneuvering around the dock. It's a nice feature.
Now let's move to the test stand and take a look at some of the key features of this engine. Now this is the second generation engine, and the first thing that becomes immediately apparent is the plastic cover that used to go across the top has been replaced by an aluminum version. This is a great help to mechanics everywhere that always lay across the top of the engine when servicing it. The water pump is located at the bottom front. Yanmar thoughtfully provided a dipstick on both sides of the engine, which is convenient in twin engine applications. This large unit underneath is a turbocharger and intercooler, and underneath that is the transmission oil cooler. In this view, we can clearly see the exhaust water mixing elbow at the top. Next to the exhaust elbow is the air filter, and tucked behind the air filter is the on-engine fine filter, which is meant to supplement your onboard fuel filter. Over on the left side, down low, are the fuel fittings for the feed and return lines. Just forward are two hoses. Now this is an option on the 6BY2, and they're used for connecting to a water heater, so in effect, the engine will be used to provide heat for the water. Forward is the 150 amp alternator. Here's your oil filter, which is a simple cartridge type. It's connected to the oil cooler. This large square box is referred to as an E-box. It houses the engine electrical system fuses, relays, and ECU. The ECU monitors data from the various sensors and controls things like low pressure fuel pump operation, fuel injection pressure, fuel injection system volume. If you have electronic engine controls at the helm, this is where the signal is interpreted and sent to the throttle servo. The ECU also uses sensor inputs to monitor engine condition and will set a trouble code if a system or sensor indicates a problem. Now it's important to note that Yanmar also manufactured the ZT350 outdrive that we tested. This is important to note as now we have one source for sales and service. One aspect that distinguishes this outdrive from others that we've seen is the hydraulic clutch. Our test showed that this virtually eliminates the familiar clunk that we experience with outdrives with cone clutches, which have been a standard to outdrive technology since they debuted in the late 50s. Yanmar backs up this drive with a 2-year warranty, the same as it offers on its transmissions. So that's our look at the performance capabilities of the Yanmar 260 horsepower 6-cylinder diesel and stir drive combination. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.